Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Sunday morning. Glenn Kellaway from the basement, back with another video. Excited about this one. One of my favorite channels in the vinyl community is Calvinwazoo. All one word, Calvinwazoo. I'll put it in the comments below. Richard is the gentleman's name. If you're not familiar with Richard, check him out. He's so knowledgeable. And one thing Richard and I share is a love for Frank Zappa. And Richard has come up with a tag. It's called Calvinwazoo'S 2025 Frank Zappa tag. I love it. I could hardly wait to get up this morning and do it. I got my Zappa hat on. I got all my Zappa crap around me, my Zappa crappa around me, and I'm ready to answer 10 prompts from Richard. Thanks for doing this, buddy. What was your first Zappa album you heard? Well, I'm an old timer. In 1966, I was 13 years old. I was more into the Beatles and the Stones and that yet. So, we had Revolver out. The Monkees were just, TV show was coming on. I graduated high school. That was my last year of public school, 66 to 67. Started high school in 1967. Somewhere along the line, I became friends with this girl. Her name was Kathy. And she was really music obsessed, as I was, and but she was so much more knowledgeable and was more in tune with what the heck was going on, where I was just probably still listening to AM radio and buying albums based on, Beatles, all of the British Invasion stuff and that kind of stuff. There was a big turning point for me because she introduced me to this. I don't know how Kathy figured this out, but she introduced me to Freak Out, which had come out in 66. So this is probably in the fall of 67. And kind of mind-blowing. It's crazy. To hear this was great. I instantly became interested in Frank Zappa, for sure. Who couldn't be? What choosy cream cheese. Anyway, great record. Kind of tied with Dylan's Blonde on Blonde for first rock double album releases. I shouldn't say I was totally into all the Beatles and stuff because I was into Dylan by this time. So, Like a Rolling Stone came out in 65. That was pretty mind-blowing. Anyway, back to Zappa. So, thank you, Kathy, for introducing me to this man. I just didn't really keep, like it wasn't like I was obsessed with Frank Zappa until this one came out. Absolutely Free. Then I got this, and that was it. That was when I went, oh yeah, Brown Shoes Don't Make It. I mean, this was the album that turned me into a Frank Zappa fanatic. Okay, so what happens next? You've got represses, but you've got to have the OG. I'll tell you what I wanted to pick was We're Only in It for the Money, but I don't even have a repress on vinyl. I'm embarrassed to say that. But this is a repress, reissue. So if I found a good OG copy of this, which is the most important Zappa album to me because it was the one that, really got me the juices flowing, I would buy that in a second. So there's number 2. Number 3, an album by an artist on the list. Now the list is a list of artists on the inside of this Freak Out album where Frank says these people have contributed materially in many ways to make our music what it is. Please do not hold that against them. He mentions a ton of people in here. And damn, I forgot to pull the record. Oh, man. The record I was going to pull, he mentions a ton of people in here. Whether they all contributed on the album or just artists that I think inspired him a little bit in some ways. Ravi Shankar, My apologies. I didn't pull my Ravi Shankar album, but Ravi Shankar is who I picked. I am a big fan of world music, and Ravi is one of the geniuses of all time in music. Brought probably solely responsible for bringing world music to North American fans. So Ravi Shankar is my answer to that question. An 80s album from an artist who played with Zappa. Well, that would be someone I just saw in concert a couple of months ago. Adrian Belew, who played with Frank Zappa from 77 to 78 as vocalist and guitarist. He played with King Crimson in the 80s. They released 3 albums: Discipline, 3 on a Match, and Beat. And I just saw the Beat tour. Adrian still got it. He's a great vocalist, great guitar player. And so I'm going to show Beat. Now, the funny story, it's one of my favorite rock stories, is David Bowie. Belew was in Zappa's band, and I think somehow David Bowie went to a Zappa show or something and called Adrian Belew aside during a set break or something into the show, and asked him to join his band and offered him a ton of money. And Adrian went to Frank and said, "Sorry, buddy, I got to take the cash and run." Frank was pissed, and I don't think he ever forgave Bowie for that. And they were at some kind of an industry function or something where Bowie and Frank Zappa were together. And Bowie came up to Zappa and said, "Hello, Frank." And Frank said, "Fuck off, Captain Tom." I love that story. Okay. As a posthumous release that you rank among your top 10. I know it's here somewhere. A lot of live stuff's come out since Frank passed away. And one of my favorites, which would definitely be top 10, is Little Dots. This is from the 72 tour, the Wazoo band. And it's got a great set list. Cosmic Debris, Little Dots, Rolo, Kansas City Shuffle, which just is a great blues tune, and Columbia SC. Really, really good. The band members, I'm just going to hold it up for you, who was in the band at that time. You notice the name Jim Gordon there on drums. Infamous Jim Gordon. So that's my my posthumous release. Next, your favorite posthumous box set. I got a few, man. But I picked this one. I think it's the most interesting. I'm not sure if it's my favorite in that I play it all the time, but it's a treasure. And it is the Hot Rats sessions. Now this is 6 discs of start to finish history of the recording of Frank Zappa's greatest album, Hot Rats. It goes right straight from a basic piano melody, and then takes all the songs and plays every. It's a history. It's a history lesson. This thing. It's amazing. It really is. Not something you listen to every day, but man, I love that. You hate it, but you own it because it's Frank Zappa. Well, I'm trying to be a Frank Zappa completist, combining records and CDs. I'll never own all the vinyl. I'll never own all the CDs. It's a mix for me. I love both formats, so it doesn't matter. I think there are now 128 releases, official releases, including posthumous and when he was alive. And I picked Thingfish, one of the worst albums ever released. This is just god-awful. Oh, it's so good looking. Okay, so Thingfish, that's my pick for just a terrible, terrible album that I have to own. Your fave unusual release copy artifact. I picked 2 things, an artifact and a weird release. Frank Zappa, 73 tour. or 73 show, Halloween, 73. Frank loved Halloween. And this comes with a mask and gloves and all kinds of weird stuff. Now, I also wanted to show a little artifact here. I don't have any like original Zappa stuff or anything, but I got my Funko Pop. Frank Zappa Funko Pop. There we go. Okay. A release that showcases your fave Zapp drummer. Oh, man. This man knew how to pick a drummer. Terry Bozzio, Chester Thompson, Vinnie Colaiuta, Ainsley Dunbar, Ralph Humphrey, Ruth Underwood. Take any of them. I think Chester Thompson's my favorite. So what I did is I picked the Roxy performances from 1973 or 74. Now, this should cover it for you, Richard. Here is the list of people on here. And you'll notice Ralph Humphrey, Chester Thompson, and Ruth Underwood are all in this band. Incredible. Incredible. This is actually my favorite Zappa box set. The Roxy performances. Fantastic. Okay. Fave release out of the entire catalog. It's Hot Rats. What can you say? Peaches and Regalia, Willie the Pimp. I mean, it's just a great album. I think a lot of it is Little Umbrellas, Son of Mr. Green Jeans. It's just such a great record. It is. I mean, I love this. I love Apostrophe, Grand Wazoo, and just there's a whole bunch. There's too many that I absolutely worship. But I picked Hot Rats as my favorite Zappa album. And that's it. So everyone, please support. If you're a Zappa fan, let's see your stuff. And if you're just interested, go to Calvinwazoo'S channel and check it out. And thanks for doing this, Richard. I really appreciate it. And we will be back soon. Take care.